What's up, everybody? Alan Tyler here, back for another day of Vlogmas. Thank you for coming back, thank you for checking in, and thank you for watching. Tonight, we have a very fun episode. I have got two beers, winter beers, from here in Oregon that I'm going to taste. Don't be fooled by the bottles. These are, in fact, GT's kombucha bottles, but they make great pint-sized to-go beer bottles. So I just filled these up at my shop 20 minutes ago, put a cap on them, brought them home, so they're nice and cold and they're ready to go. Let's taste through. I've got the Deschutes Jubelale Winter Warmer, an Oregon classic, and then I have the Hopworks Abominable Winter Ale, I would say another Oregon classic. And when I think of Oregon winter beers in particular, these are the two beers that come to mind. A couple quick stats, I suppose. So first up for tonight is the Deschutes Jubelale, or as I like to call it, the Jubelale, which is not the right way to say it. They call it a festive winter ale, notes of cocoa, dried fruit, and toffee, a robust ale with warming spice. 6.7% alcohol and 65 IBU, so this beer is probably going to be on the bitter side. In past years, though, it's been really well balanced. So let's give it a shot. It pours a really nice, like, deep caramel, reddish color, very fine bubbles. That's like a light tan head, appropriately carbonated. I get kind of those toffee notes for sure, a little bit of dark dried fruit, almost like a fruit cake. Not that intense, but kind of leaning toward that. The toffee is what comes out strong, and a bit of spicing, almost like a Belgian yeast strain spice that comes out of it. It's really alluring. But toffee is the predominant note for me. Let's try that again. Definitely kind of a malted barley character that comes through on the palate. Some of those probably roasted malts or some kind of a darker malt. That the dried fruit, or the dark dried fruit as I like to think of it, comes through more predominantly like it's like a concentrated fruit cake is really what it makes me think of. And then plenty of bitterness on the back end that actually balances out that fruit character really, really well. Hop presence, I'm not picking much up outside of the bitterness on the back end. Those aromas to me are primarily from the malt bill and the yeast strain. But the bitterness on the back end it lingers for a little bit, but then it disappears relatively quickly. It doesn't hang on forever like a super bitter IPA or anything. Yeah, get more fruit notes on it that time around. All those other characters as well, but just the fruit, that dark fruit is a little more pronounced. So I'm gonna set this one aside, let it warm up a little bit, because a beer like this, in my experience, will actually open up quite a bit more as it warms up, just over a few minutes. So we'll set that aside and we'll move on to the second one. Hopworks Organic Abominable Winter Ale. My understanding is their entire brewery and their entire restaurant setup is 100% certified organic. I think it's really, really cool that they were a brewery of their size, their quality, and their caliber of food and beer that is 100% organic. The Abominable Winter Ale, 7.3%, definitely up there. 70 IBU, so a little bit more IBU in the last one. But again, I don't like to compare IBU all that closely, but it should be on the heftier side. This mythological beer emerges from the depths of our brewery every winter. Made with organic Northwest hops and organic malt, Abominable has a complex floral, spicy, and citrus hoppiness backed up by just the right amount of malt sweetness. Don't turn your back on the beast. Let's give it a shot. So immediately I can already tell this pours a much lighter color. This is much more of that kind of copper, like a deep copper to me. The head is just off-white rather than being a light tan. Seems to be well carbonated, maybe a little bit lower carbonation level, but nothing significant. Crystal clear as well. These are both very clear beers, probably well filtered or just allowed to settle out completely. Yeah, I get hops on the aroma for sure, right off the bat. Kind of even some dank hops. I was expecting kind of more citrus hops, but I get like those deeper, danker, heartier fruits, almost like a stone fruit. Well, kind of like a dried fruit, but in a hop, in just the aroma. But to me, it smells much more specifically like a hop aroma, whereas with the Jubelale, it was more of just like, well, it just kind of smells like dried fruit. This to me is very reminiscent of other hops that I've smelled, and that kind of pungent, resiny hop aroma that comes out of it. That's basically all I'm getting on the nose is hops. I'm not picking up a malt character. Time for a taste. Wow, okay, so a lot more citrus on the palate. Finish is really clean and quick. With 70 IBU, I was expecting plenty more lingering bitterness, but as they described, there's this kind of just very, really subtle touch of malt sweetness. I probably wouldn't have even paid attention to or picked that up if I hadn't just read it on their website, which is why it's important to taste beers without reading things ahead of time, some of the time. Wow, that, and there's still just kind of just a little bit of a fruity character lingering, but it's not bitter, it's not malty, it's not sweet. It's just like orange and maybe a touch of clove or kind of winter spices. That's really nice. That's a really nice, really easy drinkable beer. And at 7.3%, that goes down super easy. I think it'd be very easy to drink a lot of that very quickly and have that kind of sneak up on you. The Abominable Monster could sneak up on you. So I think between these two, well, I'm gonna taste this one now that it's warmed up. Even just, ooh. It's almost like a gingerbready aroma now. Just even maybe just compared to that. It's like a gingerbread fruitcake. That's really nice. It's a really warming aroma. And this has, that warmed up for a couple minutes, and that's really changed and is drastically different. These are both really nice beers, folks. I like them both for different reasons. The Abominable, I get more of the kind of hop character and citrus and fruitiness that I like. And it's not over the top, but it's there, it's well balanced. Versus the Jubelale has more character to me, like that I prefer in some darker beers, some heartier winter beers. If I was thinking and picturing in my mind a winter beer that I was gonna sip with a hearty roast, if I was gonna sit by a fire, if I was gonna go hit the slopes and go skiing or snowboarding and then have a beer, something like the Jubelale, I think with its fruitiness and its a little bit deeper, darker character, that's gonna suit my winter fantasies a little more accurately. Whereas the Abominable for me is gonna hit more of my kind of everyday drinking interests or palate interests throughout something like the winter. So I think I could drink a lot of both of these. I think for this evening, I'm probably looking more forward to the Abominable. I'm just in more of a fruity and an IPA mood rather than the more subdued, relaxed, sit by the fire, have a glass of beer mood that the Jubelale would put me in. That's it for today. Thank you for checking out my vlog for the whatever day it is now. We're a ways into Vlogmas. I am having a ton of fun doing this. This was an awesome episode because I got to drink beer during it. And if you haven't already figured out, am a big beer fan, a big beer nerd. I like drinking beers, I like tasting them, I like talking about them, I like letting other people know about beers. I would say if you're interested in winter beers at all, if you see these on the shelf, give them a shot. If you see them on draft, grab a taste from the bartender. And might have to do this again for another Vlogmas. This was a lot of fun. I could always drink beer. So thank you for checking it out. Thank you for sticking with me today. If you like the video, don't be afraid to hit that like button. Don't be afraid to subscribe if you aren't already subscribed. Leave a comment if you've had either of these beers, if you have a preference between them, or if you have other winter beers that you really like or think I should try and be aware of. I would love to hear from you. So thank you, and I will see you again soon.